Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today with Kaplan International Pathways. In this session, we will be discussing in detail about the application procedures, entry requirements, available courses, and any scholarships that you may avail with Intelligent Partners. Before we start this session, I would like to run you through some ways in which you can ask us questions. We have enabled the Q&A chat box, and you can ask us any questions during the session, but we have a dedicated 10 to 15 minutes Q&A session at the end once Darren is done with his presentation. We also have a raise your hand option, which allows us and notifies us, and you can speak with the representative directly. So here we have Darren. He's the panelist today, and he will be running you through a presentation with Kaplan International Pathways. I would just like to give a short introduction on Intelligent Partners. So, Intelligent Partners is one of the oldest education consultancy in this region, and we have been guiding thousands of students to follow their dreams into top universities like MIT, Oxbridges, Ivy Leagues, etc. We also have certain services that we offer in order to help students achieve their dreams. Since a lot of things are becoming digitalized, we have started conducting online Zoom sessions, which still gives the students an opportunity to have a one-on-one session with our counselors. We also conduct virtual internships for students who may have just completed their bachelor's and are stuck and not getting jobs at the current moment. This is also helpful for students who would like to add on to their profiles for the top universities. We do conduct psychometric tests as well if a student is not sure on what they want to study in future. So this helps us to understand the brain preferences and skills that the students have to guide them better. We have essay writing sessions usually, which help students to form a better essay that will guide them and get them better opportunities in the universities. We also conduct online summer schools, which will help them get more credits, more GPA, and this again helps them in a better profile in terms of the applications that they make to the universities. We also conduct online tuitions by the reputed organizations, and this will be for all curriculums, CBSE, IB, and A levels. In the online Zoom sessions that we conduct, we help students with the course selection, university selection, their statement of purpose, as I mentioned, the essays, visa assistance for the country or the destination that they choose, any accommodation assistance they require. We also help them with the maximum scholarship that we can when they're applying to the universities. And we give them a pre-departure session before they fly off to their respective countries. This is the contact details for Intelligent Partners. You can always get in touch with us if you have any more queries. And now I may allow Darren to start with his presentation.
Thank you very much, Niyati, for that. Hello, everyone. So I think we've got quite a lot of people now joining. As Niyati said, my name is Darren, and I work for a company, I think you can see just at the top left of the screen, Kaplan International Pathways. So Kaplan, we're one of the main providers of international education worldwide. We've been doing this for many, many years. We've been working with agents such as Intelligent Partners for many years now to help students travel and live and work, and most importantly, study their chosen path in the UK, the US, and also Australia. So if I could have maybe 15 or 20 minutes of your time to run through a quick presentation. Once the presentation's finished, as Niyati said, there'll be plenty of opportunity for Q&A, for questions and answers. If at any time you're unsure of something during the presentation, please use the Q&A box and ask me a question about it. I'm more than happy to help with any information that you might need. So I'm aware that there'll be a mix of audience on this call today. There'll be some high school students who are now deciding to make the next step to study in the UK, the US, Australia, maybe another country, and who need more guidance on what to choose to study, different locations, university information. There might be others of you who are maybe past high school and who have just completed or in the middle of completing a bachelor's degree and are now looking at master's level education. We can help with all of the above. So anything to do with foundation entry, direct entry to university, master's level, bachelor's level, I can give you lots of details on what Kaplan can help with today. So what I'll do now is I'll start my screen share. I'll start the presentation. Like I said, any questions at all, it'll be a nice relaxed session, so please do just ask questions via the Q&A or the chat, and I'll do my best, as will Niati, to answer in as much detail as possible during the session. Okay, so like I said, Kaplan International Pathways, we can offer the UK, the USA, and also Australia. We have many top-ranked university partners in all 3 of these countries. So what I'm going to start with is a nice little video before I begin going into the detail of entry and all the courses, etc. I'll show you kind of the philosophy behind the company Kaplan. We're a global education provider, foundations dating back 80 years, so we're well established and well known, both in the MENA region, Middle East, North Africa, but globally as well. So I'll take a few minutes of your time just to show you a nice little video.
Education starts at home. It's led by curiosity, a quest for knowledge to better understand the world around you. It's cultures, it's sights and sounds. You'll meet people along the way, people who make a difference, who are there to listen to your hopes and aspirations. Who welcome you, who encourage you, and support you in achieving your full potential. Who guide you on your path. It won't always be easy, but it will be worth it. And you'll make new friends, friends from across the world, who share your ambitions. You'll have fun, and most importantly, you'll learn so much on this life-changing adventure.
Okay, so that was just a short video just to give you an idea of what Kaplan is all about, what we do, and how we can help you as an international student or the parent of a potential international student. If everyone could tell me at the moment, I think Niati has just shown a quick poll. So we're looking for just some quick information. If you can complete that just by clicking the 3 questions, a little polls box has just appeared. Question 1 is, are you a student or a parent? Question 2 is, which course, so which level of education are you interested in? Are you looking for a foundation course with Kaplan? Are you looking for undergraduate direct entry to a bachelor's? Or are you at master's postgraduate level? And the third and final question before we begin the rest of the presentation is, which intake, so when are you looking to begin? Is it this September intake, January next year, etc.? So if you could quickly just complete that, just the 3 questions on the poll, then we can proceed.
Thanks, Darren. We'll just wait for them to fill this in.
Yeah, sure.
You can begin with your presentation.
No problem. So thanks for all those who completed the poll. That's really helpful for us. Okay, so we'll progress to some of the more finer detail. I won't make you watch the video again. So studying with Kaplan International Pathways. So who are we? we're an international provider of top-class education across the globe. So we passionately believe that education can be personal, and our goal is ultimately to help you achieve your goals. We basically try to place every student as an individual and decide on not just the course, but the university, the environment, the city that's right for every student across the UK, the USA, and Australia. With Kaplan, you have the choice and access to thousands of degrees, lots of different majors, some from arts, business, design, all the way through to engineering, sciences, a whole host and range of different course options. Just a quick touch on the history of Kaplan. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we're known globally for many, many years. Over 40 different university partners, lots of learning centres. We're also known very well for English language teaching and learning. And we were actually founded in 1938. So we have many years of history of teaching, both physical teaching and online teaching as well. So what is a pathway course? You'll hear me speaking a lot about pathway. Pathway courses are essentially like a bridge between your higher education in your home country to accessing university education in the UK, US and Australia. So for a lot of international students, maybe they've completed their GCSEs at an international school, or CBSE at an Indian school, or Thanawea at a UAE school. All of these students require an extra year of preparation in order to access either a bachelor's degree or an international year one degree option as well. It's like a bridge between your home country studies and gaining access to the university. All of the Kaplan pathway courses are taught by well-educated, well-experienced teachers, and most of our foundation and pre-master's options are taught physically on the campus of the university that you choose. Quite an important point. A lot of people, when they think of pathway courses, they think they're going to be sent one place for a year to do the preparation and then they move to the university. At Kaplan, we're very fortunate with all of our university partners. We have within close proximity and mostly on the campus the same system. So for 1 year, you'll do your foundation on the campus and you'll progress nicely after that to the university that you've chosen as well. So how do I study a pathway course with Kaplan? Very easy, basically 5 simple steps. You complete your high school, or if you're at master's level, you'll complete your university studies. You then select which course is right for you with the help of myself, Kaplan team, and the Intelligent Partners team also. After you've decided, you make your application. You then progress to finally study on the course, usually in your destination country, whether it's UK, US, or Australia. Once you complete the pathway course and you successfully complete it, we give you a guaranteed progression into the university. So it's really nice. There's no need for further applications. You don't have to start all over again. You finish the 1 year academic year of your pathway and you progress to the university to begin your bachelor's or your master's degree. And finally, all going well, you graduate from university and you're ready to begin what will hopefully be a rewarding lifelong career. So I mentioned that we have lots of subjects, and that's no understatement. We have basically every subject you can think of because we have the benefit of a whole range of university partners in the UK, US and Australia. You can choose from art and design, you can do architecture, agriculture, engineering, health sciences, social sciences, law. So basically, if there's anything you're interested or curious about, we should hopefully have a solution for you at a very good rank university as well. So where can I study? Today I'll cover mostly the UK and the USA, but we can go in after today's session, we can have individual conversations about Australia if you're interested in Australia. But yeah, we have lots of partners across these 3 countries. So firstly, as you may already be able to hear, although I'm physically based at the moment in Dubai, I'm actually from the UK. I'm from Scotland. So some of you might recognise the accent, maybe not. I'm from Glasgow in Scotland, which is part of the UK. So I have actually lived, worked and studied, importantly, as a bachelor's level student at university in the UK. So I have first-hand experience of exactly what I'm about to tell you. I'm not making any of it up. I have real life experience. So if you need any particular information about a certain city or the rules about studying the UK or life as a UK student, I can give you first-hand experience as well and information. So why choose the UK? I have my own personal reasons why I would recommend the UK, but there are some kind of like commonly accepted and known reasons why students always choose the UK. as one of the most popular study destinations for international students. So cultural diversity, it's one of the most diverse countries in the world in terms of international students, visitors, tourists, and people who choose to live and work there. Fascinating history, so it's a very old country. Some cities dating back thousands of years in the UK, so we have lots of history, agriculture, art, design, history there as well. Vibrant cities, scenic, so unlike parts of the Middle East and other countries, we have the benefit of lots of really nice green, lush nature on your doorstep. Famously friendly, like I said, people, it's very diverse, so it's a very welcoming environment for international students. And a nice thing about the UK is we have lots of connections with big international and national companies, which really helps benefit you if you're looking to work for an international company once you graduate as well. There's lots of connections. Just some more pictures there of different areas in the UK, London, Glasgow, Nottingham, etc. So which routes do we have to access university in the UK? So at undergraduate level, so at bachelor's degree level, if you apply via Intelligent Partners with Kaplan, you can access a foundation year. So the next intake for foundation is September. You would begin your foundation on the campus in September. What we would need typically from you to be accepted would be a completion of high school certificate. So whether that's your Thanawea, whether that's your British curriculum, whether that's the American diploma, whatever system you're studying, we can usually accept. And you just need to meet the minimum study requirement. So that varies entirely depending on which university you choose. So the grades we'll ask for aren't just the same for all universities, they will vary per university. So if you have any questions about that, if you can tell me what curriculum you're studying at the moment and where roughly you would like to study, I can help give you more specific, tailored information. We also need for all of our UK applications, IELTS, UKVI IELTS. The standard we ask for is 5.5 overall. So if you can achieve 5.5, that would put you in a good place for your application. You don't need the IELTS immediately to begin your application, that can come later. The main reason we ask for an IELTS is not just to be accepted onto the course, but it's actually required, essential for your visa to study and live in the UK, to prove that you can speak and you're comfortable in the English language to a minimum level. We also have something called International Year 1. This is slightly different from Foundation. International Year 1 is one step ahead. So rather than studying 4 years, you would only study 3. International Year 1 is available for business subjects and other subjects, but not all subjects. So again, when you make an application, we can give more specific and tailored advice for this subject and for the International Year 1 route as well. Moving on to postgraduate level. We have pre-masters, so many students who have maybe completed their bachelor's degree at university in a different country, in their home country, for example, who are then looking to then move and do a master's level in the UK, US, or Australia. We need pre-masters for some students because maybe they didn't achieve a very high grade in their bachelor's at university. Again, that's where Kaplan and the Intelligent Partners team can really help. We would ask for IELTS again, typically around 6, slightly higher at pre-master's level, and also at least 3 years of that university education. So you would provide those 2 documents and we can help you choose which path is right for you. You would do 1 year of pre-masters on the campus of your chosen university. When you pass the pre-masters, same as foundation, you're guaranteed access to the next stage, which is the university itself, to then go on and do your 1 year of masters. So at UK level, for bachelor's, the standard bachelor's is only 3 years. With the foundation, that makes it 4 years. With pre-masters plus masters, it's 2 years. So it would either be 4 years total study, entire study in the UK at foundation and then bachelor's, or 2 years with pre-masters plus masters. We do also offer some PhD advice, but I won't touch too much on that because I imagine most of you are interested in the former 2. So costs. One of the most vital parts of information that sometimes universities are shy about telling you, but at Kaplan we're very upfront. It's a great education, but obviously it comes at a price, and some universities will be a lot more expensive than others. Some cities, the living costs, like any country, the capital city is always way more expensive. Some cities are more pricey than others. We can help. I personally can advise you on different cities, different cost levels of living, of food, etc. But to give you a general idea, pathway tuition fees with Kaplan vary from anything from 13,000 GBP to 33,500. That's the average costs. This will vary on the scale depending what major you choose, firstly. So if you choose the likes of business, it tends to be slightly more affordable. If you're going for like biomedical engineering or some other more expensive courses, it will vary. It also varies depending on the ranking of the university. So it tends to be, if you're looking for a very high rank, then it will be more expensive. It tends to flow that way. Other costs you'll need to consider, aside from tuition fees, will be the university's own tuition fees once you progress to the university from the Kaplan pathway. Also, general living costs, accommodation, and learning materials, insurance, all of the other things you need to factor in to make sure that you can sustain for the full study period comfortably and live and work, or live and study and maybe work in the UK as well. So now on to which universities can you access via the Kaplan and Intelligent Partners teams. So we have a huge array of different, very well-known universities in the UK and very well respected, very highly ranked. You'll notice, if any of you have heard of the Russell Group, it's like an exclusive club of around 24, 25 maybe, top ranked universities based on their history, based on the quality of teaching, etc. in the UK. Many of these you see that are partnered with Kaplan are in fact Russell Group universities. We have lots of mid and high rank UK university partners. In terms of Russell Group ones, we have Birmingham, we have Bristol, we have London, Queen Mary, we have Liverpool, Glasgow, Nottingham, York. Almost half of all of our UK partners feature in the top in the UK, which is really nice to know. And now, where are they on the UK map? So you can see in front of you, you have Scotland at the top. So we have Glasgow, my home city, so I'm a little biased, but it's a very, very good university. It's one of those Russell Group universities, excellent for a range of majors. You also have York, another Russell Group in the north of England. Liverpool, again, a Russell Group. We have University of Nottingham, another Russell Group. Also Nottingham Trent in the same city. Very good university for business and other majors. All the way to the south, you've got Birmingham, you've got Bournemouth, Brighton. Even in London, we have 3 partners in the City of London, which is London City, University of Westminster, and Queen Mary. So if you're interested in being and living and studying in London, we have 3 very good options, which all offer many different types of course. So now what I'm going to do is just briefly touch on a range of different universities I described in more detail. So University of Birmingham, which is kind of in the centre to the north of England. It's a Russell Group. It's been around for hundreds of years. It's a top 15 in the UK university. Very, very diverse population of students from all over the world, both in the city and in the university itself. And it's very well known for graduate prospects. So when you graduate from this University of Birmingham, you have a very good chance of employment based on past data and how many students have gone on to further careers with international prospects. Bournemouth is more of a modern university, so very different to Birmingham in some respects, based in the southwest coast near the beach. So it's a nice coastal town, a lot smaller than Birmingham, very peaceful, and very, very high quality of teaching. Again, it's a good rank, not as high rank as others, but a good rank university, and top 500 in the whole world as well. Brighton, similar to Bournemouth, by the seaside. It's 1 hour from London. So very near to London, very easy to go in and out of London by train, by bus. Bournemouth specifically is well known for its fashion courses, for its art and design, architecture, let me think, business specifically as well, and some other subjects. So if you're interested in being in a seaside town with the weather, for the UK, the weather's pretty good, near to London, but more peaceful, definitely consider Brighton. University of Bristol, so this is an ancient university, another Russell Group partner. It's one of our highest rank that we have at Kaplan, and it's one of the highest rank in the UK, number 9 at the moment in 2020 rankings, which is amazing. Bristol as a city has ancient history, it's very green, but mixed with a very modern edge as well, and it's very well targeted amongst employers internationally. As you'll see, it's the second most targeted UK university in terms of employers looking at graduate lists of students and deciding who to target to bring for interview, for future jobs, etc. as well. Now, within London City, we have City University of London. It's very well known for its business school in particular, but engineering and other subjects. It's within London, so a huge diverse metropolitan city, famous for so many things, so popular with international students. London itself is regularly voted as a #1 student city globally, which is a nice achievement. So I would definitely recommend London if you're fascinated by London and you want a good quality education in the city. University of Essex, so it's not as well known as some of the others. Essex is actually only 1 hour from London. It's more of a campus university, so it's very green, as you can see in the picture. Lots of lakes. It's a nice, peaceful environment, but it regularly wins lots of awards for its teaching quality. You can see that it's won in the past University of the Year in the UK, and it's very international as well. Students love being there because it's like a home away from home, so they can visit London at the weekend and then come back and continue studying during the week in a nice kind of town rather than a huge city. I'm just going to take a quick pause because I've covered lots of information. Do we have any questions at the moment? If you do, please feel free to use the Q&A box in the bar. You'll see the control bar. You can ask any questions you like and we can cover them as we go. Otherwise, I'll just continue now. So, University of Glasgow in Scotland in the UK. So most of the universities, all of the universities spoken about so far are in England, but this one is one of our partners in Scotland. So it's a top 15 in the UK university and it's top 100 in the world for 2020, which is an amazing achievement. It's one of the best in the world. Glasgow, it's like the way I could describe it is as a university, it's like a Harry Potter campus, over 500 years old. Lots of famous engineers, scientists, doctors, etc. have all graduated from the University of Glasgow. And you can access University of Glasgow with Kaplan pathways via foundation or via pre-masters, depending on which level of study you are pursuing. Okay, so University of Liverpool, a very famous city, Liverpool. Famous maybe if you know it for its football or its sport, or if you know it for like different famous bands in the past, like the Beatles, etc. But it's actually an amazing education city as well. Top 16 university in the whole of the UK. #1 Russell Group for graduate employability. It's been ranked in the past. And lots of Nobel laureate prize winners have actually been graduates of this university. So all of these things tell you the quality of education at Liverpool is very high. It's well sought after internationally among employers. They're very interested in graduates from Liverpool because of its years of history and the high quality of education. The city itself I've visited many times in the past. It's a very nice city, very ancient history, but very welcoming, warm people. It's a great place to live and also to study if you choose to study. Nottingham, so very similar to the last two in terms of the university quality. So Liverpool, Glasgow, and Nottingham are all very similar in some respects. They're all top 20 universities in the UK. Specifically Nottingham itself, if you're interested in any kind of sport, they have amazing facilities. So they're regularly voted as like the top sports facility university in the UK and also internationally. Something to remember if you're interested in sports facilities. Top 10 in the UK, as you can see, for graduate prospects. And you can access foundation, pre-masters, like all of our other options via Kaplan with to University of Nottingham. It's a fantastic choice. In terms of the location, it's in the middle of the UK. So it's very easy to travel around the UK. Nottingham Trent. So everyone knows the University of Nottingham. Most people recognise the University of Nottingham. Nottingham Trent is maybe not as well known internationally, but it is the alternative university within the city of Nottingham. Nottingham Trent is much more modern, so it's a younger university, but it's a fantastic modern campus. They have a mix of old and new buildings, but it's more known for its more modern courses. So by modern courses, I would say like marketing, business development courses, art and design, interior design, all of these more kind of 21st century courses for the jobs of the future. Nottingham Trent is very well known. Now, Queen Mary University of London, another ancient university, kind of like Liverpool, like Glasgow, has lots of famous graduates from Nobel Prize winners to famous inventors, scientists, business people have all studied at the Queen Mary University of London. It's top 150 in the whole world out of all universities, and it's second in the UK for its international perspective and outlook. So we have lots of international students and academics from all over the world physically teaching and studying at this university. Now, the University of West of England in Bristol. within Bristol, it's similar to Nottingham, that there are actually two main universities in one city. So University of West of England, Bristol, is a very modern university. It's a top 200 modern university or young university in the whole world. Graduate prospects within 6 months of graduation are very high, top 30 in the UK overall, according to the latest guides, and you can access foundation and pre-masters. Bristol, importantly, is actually very affordable. So out of all of the UK options I've described so far, Bristol is one of our most affordable in terms of tuition fees. By affordable, what I mean in terms of cost is anything from around 13,500 GBP for the foundation year upwards. So that's where the kind of roughly where it starts, depending on what major you choose. University of Westminster, in the very centre, in the heart of London. It's amongst all of the main shopping areas in London. It's a very vibrant area. So Regent Street is one of the main locations. It couldn't be any more central if it tried to be. It's a super university. Again, like UWE Bristol, it's a very modern university in comparison to the others. It's a top 200 young university, very international. And again, it's within the heart of London, the #1 student city, as regularly voted by international students worldwide. And you can access foundation, pre-masters to a whole range of subjects at Westminster as well. So we're approaching the end of the details of each partner, but University of York is a very high rank one that we have. Another Russell Group member, a historic, hundreds of years old university, top 20 in the whole of the UK. It regularly wins teaching awards, as do some other of our partners. York itself is voted very highly as a destination to live in England specifically. So if you're looking for a nice peaceful environment, a kind of campus feel outside of a busy city, like for example, like being in London, it's a much more peaceful environment, less busy. As you can see in the picture, very beautiful, lots of campuses and nature and wildlife habitats, etc. in the city of York. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick pause for now, and I'll stop my screen share for a second so you can see me back fully here again. So do we have any questions? We've just covered all aspects of the UK at the moment. From Kaplan perspective, which universities you can apply to with Kaplan, their locations, some kind of key facts about them. Do you have any questions about living and studying as a Kaplan student in the UK? Feel free to write either in the chat box, which I think you can access, just the general chat, or if it's easier for yourself, in the Q&A box. Niyati, if you have any questions coming through to yourself, just let me know.
I don't have any questions here as of now.
Okay, I think everyone's either have done an amazing job or people are just too shy to ask for now. So I can see we have quite a lot of attendees. So if anyone has any questions, we'll take a quick 5-minute pause now, because I know usually questions tend to come through.
Okay.
So please do let me know. You can type them in and I'll answer them individually.
Since we've anyways taken a break, I think we can ask them to fill in the form as well.
Yeah, if you want to put that back up, that's fine. Okay. Oh, we have one question. Yeah. Okay, good question. So what are the pathways for medicine? Okay, so what I'll do firstly is tell you, as you might have already heard from other universities, medicine is one of the most popular, but also one of the most difficult degree options, if not the most difficult in the UK to enter. It's also the most expensive degree choice. So the reason it's the most expensive is because the physical teaching is very demanding. So in the UK, universities who teach medicine, they have physical live hospital wards. So the university invests a lot of money and time. So the number of places for international students on the medicine degree programs per university is actually very small. At Kaplan, our medicine program for September for autumn intake is already closed. We only offer it at one of our partners, that's the University of Brighton. And we only have 10 places globally for all international students per year, and they're always taken early. So unfortunately, at the moment, we have no places for 2020. Later in the year, you can begin an application for foundation medicine for 2021 entry. So that would be the University of Brighton. So I'll just type that in so everyone can see it. Okay, so that's the first answer.
Yeah, so the next question is, for UCAS, how many universities can you apply to?
Okay, Thank you, Niati. So yes, it would vary. So basically with Foundation and with Kaplan, there's no need for UCAS. So the benefit of coming via Pathways is that you avoid using UCAS. UCAS is for direct entry only. So if you're looking to go directly to first year of a bachelor's degree, you would need a minimum normally of 3 full A-levels or SAT plus APs. You need a very high level of high school qualifications. So many international students don't have the opportunity to study at that level in their own high school. That's the reason they tend to choose, or they need to choose in many cases, a pathway provider like Kaplan. Personally, I'll pass this to Niati. What's the maximum number you would accept for UCAS, Niati, for direct?
As in the number of universities they can apply to, right? 5.
Yeah. Yeah, normally 5.
And then
if
they have any other partner universities, then we can just assist them aside.
Yeah. So if you're applying for direct entry, it's important to remember the distinction. Many students who are international students will require to do a foundation or a preparation year on the campus before they can access. If that's you, then you don't need UCAS at all. Another important factor is the deadline for UCAS applications has already passed for this autumn intake. Normally it would be, I think it's December or January, usually January of each year, for students who want to begin in the following September of the same year. So if you're looking to begin university in September for direct entry, you've already missed by a few months the deadline for UCAS. In that case, Pathways with Kaplan, we're still open for applications. You can apply all the way until August, normally the end of August, for that as well. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yes, maybe you can just tell them which are the direct entry options available with you for UK.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we do have some limited options. So one of our main options is University of Birmingham. So it's one of the highest rank in the UK. So if you're interested in applying to Birmingham, we can help you with applications to that. We do also have some options for the USA as well, which I'll touch on later in my presentation as we progress. So I hope for now that's answered your question, but I'll just type a quick answer. So I've got a question here from Danielle Khan, which is, what are the pathways for international relations? So international relations, like all political majors, is one of the most popular choices in the UK. We also have some options in the US. So we have Liverpool, Nottingham, Glasgow, we have Essex, we have London options. Basically, most of the universities that Kaplan works with, we can offer an international relations, or it will be international relations mixed with a language, or different variations. Maybe, Danielle, after this session, you can speak to myself and Niati, and we can send you a full list of all of the options so that it's more specific to you. But yeah, so many options. You'll be spoiled for choice. You just have to decide which ones you would prefer. I hope that answers the questions. Okay, and the final question we have at the moment is, what are the pathway options for the Masters in Forensic Science? Again, we have more than one option in the UK. So we have forensic science and some other kind of mixed degrees with forensics included. We can send you details. You're down as anonymous at the moment, but if you could make yourself known maybe in the private chat or after the session, Niati can advise you, and we can send you all of the pathway options at pre-master's level and also master's level that we have for you for forensic science.
I'm also just mentioning my contact details for anyone who wants to get in touch with us after the session.
So you'll maybe see, everyone, if you can move your eyes over to the chat box. Niati has sent a quick link to a registration form. So if you're keen on having any follow-up information after the session today, and you want to maybe start an application or find out more, keep in touch with myself. Please do fill out the form that Niati's provided. It'll take a few minutes. You can do it now if you wish. I'll give another few minutes, and then I'll move on to our USA partners for whoever's interested in the USA. Do we have any more questions in the meantime about the UK or anything about Kaplan, Foundation, pre-masters? No, I think there's nothing at the moment. That's good. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll progress. Are we okay to move on, Yati? Yeah?
Yeah, we can start with the US presentation.
Awesome. Okay, so hopefully you can all see this now. So living and studying in the USA. So why do people commonly choose the USA? So there's lots of practical experience as well as study in the US, which is very beneficial for a lot of majors, gaining experience as you study. And there's also opportunity to work in the country after you graduate as well. I must say that recently the UK also announced an extended study visa. So both the UK and the USA are becoming even more attractive because the governments are making it more flexible for students to study and to then afterwards stay and work in the country for a few years after. Much like the UK, very multicultural, very diverse, very welcoming. USA has obviously some of the most successful technology companies, manufacturing companies in the world, still based there. Lots of travel experiences. So if you've never been to the US, it's basically like lots of countries within one country. I was there for the first time last year. When you move from one state to another, it can sometimes feel like you're entering a totally different country in terms of the environment, the look and feel, the climate, everything can be very different. So you'll benefit from lots of different experiences. And it has a huge sporting environment, even more so, I would say, than the UK. So much opportunity to work and to exercise and to participate in sport. Again, just some more pictures of the US in different locations. So routes to the university in the USA. So undergraduate pathway options. We have the undergraduate pathway, very similar to foundation in terms of the principle. Minimum entry requirements, we would ask for a TOEFL score of 55 or equivalent. So by or equivalent, what we mean is we'd also accept other types of English language qualification. If you don't have TOEFL, we accept a list of others, which we can share with you later. And also you'll need to have completed your high school with at least 2.0 GPA or equivalent. Again, 2.0, but it may go higher depending on which of our partners you choose in the US. Then afterwards, you'll be able to access the bachelor's degree after you complete the undergraduate pathway. So similar to the UK in some respect, you do your Kaplan pathway first on the campus, then you get to progress into the university to go on to study your chosen course major. Difference between the UK and the US in terms of course length is that the bachelor's degree in the US standard is 4 years, whereas in the UK, the standard is only 3 years. So many people think that the UK is automatically 4 years for the bachelor's, but actually most bachelors are 3 years in the UK. So whether you do an undergraduate pathway and in the UK, you'll do 4 years in total, 1 year foundation, 3 years bachelor's. In the US, it tends to be 5 years in total if you include the pathway element. And we also have English intensive programs in the USA. These are extended programs for students who maybe have an even lower TOEFL score than the minimum requirement for the pathway. This means you'll do a little intensive English to bring your English level up, then you can progress to the pathway. So we have what I'm basically describing across the UK and the US is so many different flexible paths, because every student is obviously at a different level, different experience. So we try our best at Kaplan to find something that fits you. We're trying to make it as simple and as straightforward as possible as well. And we also have master's level, so graduate level options, the same as the UK. So we would ask for a bachelor's degree with a minimum 3.0 GPA for some of our options, and also TOEFL, again, 55 or equivalent English test. And then you'll progress to a master's degree. And the same as the undergrad level, at graduate level in the US, we have English programs for those students who maybe need it to help them meet the requirements for entering the pathway graduate. What we also have in the US, which Nayati touched on earlier, is we can help you access direct entry to some of our excellent US partners. So if you qualify for direct entry, if your qualifications, whether from high school or from your university, are too high, more advanced than the foundation level or the pre-master's level, we can help you go straight into the university to first year. So you would need to make an application. We can assess what level you're at, whether you're pathway or direct eligible, and then we'll help you with that to gain access as an international student. Finally, for any transfer students, so I'm not sure on the call if maybe we have a few transfer students who are maybe have completed a couple of years of their university in their home country, but they're now thinking, okay, I'd love to transfer and continue and finish my studies at a top university in the US. That option also exists for you via Kaplan. So because we have such strong links with so many good universities in the US, we can help you transfer nicely, depending on how many credits you've accumulated to date in your current university, into maybe year 3, sometimes year 2 of a bachelor's degree in the USA. So study costs in the USA. So they vary entirely, again, like the UK, depending on where you study. But I'll just read this quickly. To apply for a USA study visa, you must show that you have funding available for at least 1 year at the university, including tuition, fees, and all living expenses. What that really means, same as the UK, when you do your visa application, you need to be able to demonstrate on the bank statements that you have sufficient funds to cover your first year of living and studying in your chosen destination. Undergraduate level varies entirely from $28,500 US to $70,500 US, depending on what major you choose and which location you choose also. Graduate costs tend to be slightly higher at the lower end of the scale, but yeah, so it will vary depending on where you go. Now, we have 4 excellent high-rank university partners in the US. Some of them are super popular with international students. I would say the most popular we have at the moment, the most popular option is Arizona State University in Phoenix, Arizona. So Arizona State is one of our most popular for a variety of reasons. The lifestyle at the university is very outdoors. So the climate in Arizona, if you've never been or not familiar, is very similar to UAE. It's very humid during the summer. It's a desert, basically, environment, and 5 huge campuses in Arizona. So it's spread across Arizona. It's very sports orientated. It's like a true, almost like what you see in the movies. It's a true US kind of college experience, university experience. We have both pathways and direct options to enter across lots of majors, from health sciences to business to engineering. It's a fantastic and very, very well respected and high ranked university in the USA. What else can I say about Arizona State? There are over 110,000 students across the 5 campuses. So it is enormous. It's super popular with international students. And yeah, I would really recommend it if you want a real campus environment, if you want a big, busy, active, energetic place to study, and if you want to be really immersed in the US culture, definitely choose Arizona State. Moving on to number 2, we have Pace University, really nice city feel. So it's quite different from Arizona. Pace University is located in New York City. So I was there for the first time last year. It has 2 campuses. One of them is very, very nearby to the Empire State Building. So you're really in the middle of everything in terms of New York. So when you leave your campus, your accommodation, you're on the busy, bustling streets of New York City. Obviously a very different climate, cold in the winter, but very nice, pleasant summers. Very different from Arizona. Very high rank again, and we have, like Arizona, pathways, but also direct options as well. Moving on to Simmons. So Simmons University is quite unique in the US and unique to Kaplan. We actually have an all-female undergraduate program. So Simmons University is based in Boston, a very popular city, very common in American movies and culture. It's a very nice city to live, to work, and to study. Boston itself, again, is more similar to New York in terms of the climate. And the great thing about the undergraduate program is it's all female. So if you're a lady or you're wanting to pursue an all-female program, we have that option at Simmons via Kaplan. The great thing about Simmons for this fall is we're offering a full scholarship in terms of the amount, up to $45,000 US. So if you're a female student and you're interested in joining Simmons on one of the programs, undergraduates, you can contact Intelligent Partners. You can inquire about the scholarship. If you're accepted, if we make you an offer and you accept the offer for Simmons, you will be guaranteed the scholarship of over $40,000 towards your tuition fees, which is amazing. So it really reduces the cost of the tuition by an enormous amount at Simmons. Finally, moving on to Tulsa. So Tulsa is in a really nice sunny state of Oklahoma. So Oklahoma is a very popular, huge state in the USA, more similar to Arizona in terms of climate, environment, and the surroundings. But yeah, I would really recommend Tulsa also, both for undergraduate and for postgraduate level. So we have Arizona State in Arizona, we have Pace University in New York, we have Simmons University, all-female undergraduate campus based in Boston, and we have the University of Tulsa in Oklahoma. And I'll just show you now the locations. So you can see on the map, we have the 4 universities spread out across the US. So your route to each of these will be via Kaplan. You can make your application at any time from now for fall intake, fall 2020, which begins around August, otherwise for January 2021. Now, one thing I haven't touched on at the moment, obviously, the elephant in the room is the COVID-19 situation globally. I'm going to cover that at the end, but I'm very pleased to say that every current student at all of our Kaplan universities has been given the option to continue their studies. So any student who maybe began last year, who was in the middle of their studies and all of a sudden they had to return home, etc., from the UK and the US, they've all been transferred very smoothly onto our digital learning. The reason it's been so smooth is because Kaplan has been taking part in digital learning for over 14 years across the globe. So all of the platforms, all of the infrastructure was already in place. So we, unlike maybe others in other universities, adapted very easily to moving our students to the online options. And all the same teachers, same quality of teaching, similar timetable classes, only done online with the benefit of 2020 technology. Has made it very easy. We've been able to keep students on track towards the goals during this temporary time of upheaval. We are planning and we are preparing for things to resume semi-normal in September, August, September in both countries, all going well. So all of our students who are already accepting their offers now, planning to move to the UK and the US in August and September, are on track at the moment. So if you have any concerns about that, please don't be concerned. If it came to worst case scenario, August, September, for any reason you're not personally able to travel, or you still have health concerns and safety concerns, we'll always do what's safest for you. So whether that means that you don't travel for the first month or two, even though your course has started, you can still begin at your scheduled course time, only digitally. And there will be some students who will choose to do that, and that's absolutely fine. Then when you're ready to travel after maybe 2 months, 3 months, all the way to maybe November, December, we can then help make the transition for you to get your visa and to fly and to then resume your studies. Very smoothly, just continue from where you left off physically in the classroom, as was always the intention. So yeah, if you have any more questions about that, we can help afterwards. But yeah, please be assured that either way, whether it's digitally or whether it's physically on campus, you'll be able to begin your studies, your pathway course or your direct entry course at the normal time. I'll just see if I have any questions on that. I don't at the moment, so I'll progress. So some more specifics. Arizona State University, like I said, there's 5 campuses. So it's a huge university. Number 1, so this is quite an important point, for the last 4 years, in one of the main journals and reports in the US, 4 years in a row, it's come out top out of all US universities for innovation. So that means it's ahead of Stanford, MIT, some of the well-known top universities in the US. So companies like, let me think, like Microsoft, like Apple, like HP, all of the top technology companies look at graduates from Arizona State University specifically, because it focuses, during the time at Arizona State, they're very heavily focused on innovation, on thinking differently, on opening students' minds about new ways of working, future technologies. The mindset at Arizona State is very forward thinking, and that benefits enormously the students when they graduate, because employers are ready waiting to look at the graduate list to help with applications and everything, and maybe work experience as well. It's also a very international university, as I mentioned. Top 10 university chosen by international students, which is a huge achievement. And number 3 in the world as of 2020 for employer-student connections. So that goes back to my comment on innovation. When you think of all the amazing American companies or even international companies who do a lot of trade in America and deal with American universities, it's number 3 in the world at ASU for the connections that are made between ASU graduates and international students for future employment. Pace, so you can see right away the image is very different. High-rise buildings, centre of New York, a very kind of metropolitan environment. It's a hugely popular NYC, New York City University. In terms of salary potential, so for future earnings, it's one of the top rank for graduates. You can see again, more than 600 employers, different companies, took on and hired PACE international students in the last few years. So if you're an international student at PACE, like ASU, you'll have a good choice of employers, and your university is very highly regarded by large companies for employment as well. Moving on to our third option is Simmons. So it's an all-female undergraduate, direct or conditional admissions pathway. We can help you with direct entry for Simmons. It's focused on building the women leaders of the future. So any females who want to go into business or engineering or science, it's very focused on helping empower females to access different opportunities maybe they wouldn't get at other universities. Top 125 in the USA as of 2020 reports. Like I said, we can help you with an amazing scholarship of over $40,000 US if you're accepted. So that'll be a guaranteed Kaplan scholarship in partnership with Simmons for any female students who are accepted onto a course with Simmons for fall or beyond, which is amazing. And the last in the US that we have is the University of Tulsa. So it's more of a campus feel, more in the kind of countryside, more greenery than some other cities in the US, some other states. And for engineering specifically, it's very well known for future prospects for engineers. Very good value as well compared to other universities in the USA. So Tulsa and Oklahoma, if you're interested in Oklahoma State. I'll briefly now touch on Australia. So we have two main universities. We have the University of Adelaide and we have Murdoch University. So University of Adelaide, clue is in the name, so it's in Adelaide, and Murdoch University is in Perth. So two very different locations in Australia, and we can help you with pathways entry and also direct entry again to both of these universities. So I'll stop now before I move to the next section because I've spoken lots and lots. I'll take a quick breather. But if you have any questions now about the USA options we discussed, or even back to the UK if you've thought of some questions, or about Australia, please ask now. Feel free to send some messages in the Q&A.
Okay, I can see that someone has raised their hand, so I would just allow them to talk. Yes, Farhana, you may speak now.
What was the student's name? So Farhana? Farhana, if you're not able to speak in the mic, you can type a message in the Q&A box or the chat.
Okay, I'm just trying to unmute her.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes,
hello.
We can hear you now.
Okay, good. Actually, I would like to ask you questions about United States. But he has already explained about United States, and I joined late, that's why I didn't know anything. And it is actually for my daughter. She wants to do the master degree in pharmacy. Is it possible to do that?
Yes, so thanks for your question. Yes, actually, we have different health science degrees, and I believe we have pharmacy most likely at Arizona State University. So we can help you if you want to speak to Niyati and the team after the call. You can give us some more details about your daughter, her current studies.
No, actually, she wants pharmacy, clinical pharmacy. She wants to do that.
Okay.
And if you give me some brief information about the tuition fee, living cost, and the lifestyle, yeah.
Absolutely. So it's most likely available at Arizona State out of our 4 partners in the US. So I'll just quickly go back and show you the partners that we have. So this is, I don't know if you missed this already, but Arizona State in Phoenix, Arizona. We have lots of pharmacy options. So in terms of cost, it will vary depending on if your daughter's going to be studying a pathway or direct entry. But given that we have a wide audience in the call, I won't go into too much detail now.
Which one is better? The direct admission is better, you think?
It depends on what level your daughter's at. So after today's call, if you can, have you already given your details to Niyati? Have you given?
Not really, not really.
Oh.
Actually, she is doing a bachelor degree in pharmacy now. She is in the final stage. It's going to be finished within 6-7 months, and then she wants to do the master degree in pharmacy.
Okay,
clinical
fantastic.
pharmacy.
So we need to have a separate conversation because we need more details from you. So if you're able to send a message in the chat in Zoom, a private message to Niyati, or send her an email. Niyati from Intelligent Partners can help you. If you give us more details, I'll follow up with you afterwards. So there's more.
Okay, I will do that. And just by the time, if you would give me some brief information about the cost.
Yep, the cost will vary. Again, anything from around $30,000 up to $70,000. It varies depending on the duration that your daughter needs and also which university that she chooses. So the USA typically is between 40 and 70,000 USD for tuition per year.
And that is for how many years course? 2 years course, I believe.
If it's master's level, it'll be between 1 and 2 years.
1 and 2 years, yeah. So it means if it is 1 year, then is it okay? The cost is between 30 to 70,000, you say?
I'd say for master's level, between 40 and 70,000.
40 and 70,000 US dollar.
Yeah, but that will vary entirely.
So after the course, can she stay back there, or she can get any PR visa, or she can work there? What is the benefit there?
So there are options to some students who, if any student during their studies or at the end of their studies, if you're able to secure a sponsorship from a company, then there are opportunities. There's no guarantees with any visa, but there are opportunities to remain and to work.
And is there any option the government is going to give her stay back for 1 year, or how long they are going to give her the option?
We don't know, to be honest. It depends entirely on how well she performs at the university, and also if she's able to make connections with employers during her study.
I was just trying to call you to ask about Australia. I think Australia is a little bit cheaper and best. That's what I heard, but I don't know if you give me some brief information about that. Maybe I could.
Yeah, I can give you some information in a second. I'll talk generally about the 2 universities that we have, but because we're limited for time, I'll have to move on, and I can give you a separate conversation maybe after today, okay?
After today?
Yes. So what we can do is, because we have many people on the call, I have to progress, but...
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead. Then we will make another chatting some other time.
We'll make a one-on-one appointment because you have quite specific questions, okay?
Okay.
But if you leave any more questions in the Q&A box, I can answer them at the end as well. Thank you.
So just only one question. In Australia, what is the cost, you think, the tuition fee?
It varies again. So I can give it in US dollars because we tend to talk in US dollars. It will be between 20 and 50,000 USD.
That is also 2 years course or 1 year course?
Minimum 2 for pharmacy, normally, at least 2.
Okay, go ahead for that, and we'll contact you later on.
No problem. Thanks for your questions.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thanks.
I have 2 more questions. I have in the Q&A. I have one question, which is, which destination would you recommend for undergraduate major in economics? Okay, so I'm not sure if you're referring to a specific country, but in general, in the UK, for economics, I would recommend a high rank Russell Group university. So I would recommend maybe a university like Liverpool, Nottingham, Glasgow, York, Birmingham, one of the high rank for economics. There are many ancient universities in the UK which really teach economics very well. And career-wise and employability, you have an advantage as well. So that's for economics. Let me just move on to the next question. What is the average tuition fee for an engineering program? So in the UK, I would say anything from, if pathway course cost would be between 14,000 GBP and 19,000 for engineering, then the actual university tuition can vary depending on each university from around 15,000, so 15,000 GBP to maybe 21 or 22,000 pounds. It varies entirely on which university that you choose, but that gives you a rough idea of the scale as well, between 15 and 21,000 at the university. I hope that answers both of those questions. Do you have any more questions before I progress towards the later stages? I don't know if you have any more questions coming through at the moment, Yati?
No, I don't see any questions at the moment. Also, I've just noticed a few names that have not filled in the form. So I would just write them here in the chat box so they're aware. And yeah, they can fill in the details.
Yeah, I can just see, so there's 4. So for Hannah, I think that was the lady's father, the father that just spoke to you. If you could complete the link that's just above, I'll copy and paste that. This will help us reach out to you after the session. So anyone who hasn't, I'll send the link now, the form. So you'll see in the chat box, not in the Q&A, but in the webinar chat box, there's a quick form that you can complete. That would really help myself and help the Intelligent Partners team to get your information and to follow up and maybe arrange some personal Zoom sessions or WhatsApp or anything, any virtual meetings. Okay, Nancy, I'm just going to progress to the next stage, if that's okay.
Yeah, perfect, no worries.
Awesome. So yeah, so far, thanks for everyone who stayed for the duration with me. We have the UK partners, many options. We have 4 in the US and 2 in Australia. So really, if you're looking for any form of entry, any type of course, you can contact us after today's session and we can help you. So I'll move on to the next stage. So the Kaplan experience. So what is it really like being a Kaplan student in each of these countries? What support do we offer? Obviously, for many students, it's their first time leaving their home country. It's a new and sometimes daunting experience. I myself studied for a year abroad away from the UK, so I know firsthand how nerve-wracking it can be, moving to a new country, a new system. Maybe you're not fully fluent in the native language yet, making friends, moving into new accommodation. There's so many ifs and buts that might put you off actually pursuing an international education. So hopefully I can reassure you that if you apply via Kaplan, and we'll take care of everything for you, we'll make it a really nice experience, an enjoyable and rewarding experience as well, because we have been doing this for many, many years for international students. So the great thing about a Kaplan pathway course is that it's designed with international students in mind. This means that everything from your academic skills to your English language level and your specific subject knowledge that you've chosen, we help enhance all of those. So by the time you finish the pathway and are ready to begin the university, you're more confident as an individual, you're more confident in the language, you're more confident in your chosen subject as well, and you're ready to begin your bachelor's or your master's degree. Our teachers and the level of teachers are very advanced. So all of our teaching is taught by teachers who are well trained. Some of them are award-winning academics. Some of the universities, they've been there for many years. It's a very high level quality of teaching. Our class sizes during your pathway course are deliberately kept smaller than the university class sizes. So average in the UK would be between 16 and 20. Average in the US, usually 20. For the pathways at Kaplan. It's very nice, smaller class sizes, so you get real one-on-one support from the tutors. They get to know you personally, they'll check in on you and see how you're doing. It's more of a kind of individualized approach so that you're not left in a sea of thousands of students and forgotten about. You'll be taken care of as well. You'll have additional study support and workshops. So outside of class hours, if you need a little bit extra support, we have the Kaplan team on there to support you and available. And you have excellent learning resources. So most of our locations are actually physically on the campus of the university. So if you're studying in the UK, for example, if you choose to go to the University of Bristol, and you're a Kaplan Foundation student, you'll be physically on the campus of the university from day one. So you'll have access to the libraries, you'll be treated like a university student from day one when you first arrive, which is amazing and offers some confidence for you as well. So you'll get support at every step, like I've kind of alluded to, even before you arrive. For example, from tomorrow, if you choose to do an application, or next week, you'll have constant support from myself via WhatsApp, Zoom sessions. When we resume to more normal times, you'll be able to go back to traveling to the Office of Intelligent Partners to speak to the counsellors like Nayati and other team members for one-on-one advice. We support you every step of the way. We help you book accommodation, which I'll touch on in a second. So we have on-campus accommodation as well, which is really nice. And we have a pre-arrival guide to tell you everything you should expect for when you arrive at the airport, when you check into your accommodation, A to Z. We even organise airport pickups for students. So you can request this from Kaplan and we'll arrange that for you so that you're not left lost in the new city, unfamiliar circumstances. We'll help you get to your accommodation safely, and everyone's there to help you progress, basically. Everyone at Kaplan really cares about you progressing as a student all the way through to university and beyond. Now, accommodation. So because Kaplan is a huge company, we've been around for many years, we have lots of really nice modern accommodation facilities at each university campus. So it's not like the accommodation of 10, 20 years ago. It's very modern, bright, fantastic facilities. We have accommodation both in the UK and Australia, private and studio apartments. And you have your own private ensuite bedroom, like you can see in the photo there, very nice standard, comfortable for you to feel safe and have private time for studies, to really enjoy your time on the campus. You have some shared areas like the living and kitchen area where you'll meet your friends in your first year. So you'll make some of your friends maybe for life, maybe for the duration of your studies. All of the students that you live and work with will be international, so they'll be from all over the world. They'll all be Kaplan students as well. So you'll all be in the same position, all in the same boat and going through the same experiences. There'll be shared social and entertainment facilities, security cameras and on-site security also. And a nice thing is that we also have the option of same gender and under 18 options in our accommodation. So if you want to request an all-female floor or an all-male floor, mixed gender, under 18 options, we take care of everything for you. Now, because many of you have maybe never travelled or even lived or visited any of the countries that I've discussed, we have Kaplan student ambassadors. These are current and past Kaplan students who have studied and lived at many of our campuses, and they have first-hand experience of the environment, of the studies, of the classes, even of your particular choice of university. So we can put you in touch with them during your time in the lead up to your application or during an application process, or even if you've chosen your chosen studies, but you don't yet know enough about your location, we can put you in touch and they can tell you anything you need to know about the course, why they chose a particular university, or any aspect of life in that university or city. So we can help put you in touch with those. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to play another video. This will show you what life is like as a Kaplan student. You'll hear from one or two of our students as well. It's a really nice way to kind of bring everything I've discussed to life. I'm going to start with Isa. So Isa was a former Glasgow Kaplan student in Scotland. She's now progressed and now actually is at the University of Glasgow, thanks to her foundation course she studied at Glasgow as well. So I'll play that now for you.
Hey guys, my name is Isa, and today I'll be taking you to a few of my favorite places to go to in Glasgow. A few hidden gems that you guys should totally check out. So we're currently at Byers Road and we're heading to our next location. We're actually heading towards Glasgow Botanical Gardens. This is one of the destinations you guys have to check out. Hey guys, so here we're at Kelvin Grove Park at the moment. I walk through this park pretty much every day to head to campus, as well as many other students from the university. It's quite sunny today, but it's still cold. It's such a beautiful day today. I'm actually here with my friend. Hello. We're heading to campus right now on Friday. We're currently at Loop and Scoop, and we have our churros. I ordered Nutella, and he's my friend ordered Biscoff. And the reason why I love coming here, it's just so close to the university campus, and they have Nutella-filled churros. Absolutely spectacular. I love this place. I usually come here to treat myself during my breaks in between classes. Absolutely delicious. Check this place out. So I'm currently at the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum, and this building is divided into two sections. The first section is the art gallery, and then the second is the museum. So I'm currently on the left-hand side of the building, which is the art gallery. And this section section is dedicated to paintings as well as Scottish art. So I am on the right-hand side of the building. So this is the museum section, which focuses on natural history, world cultures, as well as archaeology. And I'll just be showing you like a few clippets of the section itself. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Those were a few of my favorite places to go to in Glasgow. If you're considering visiting Glasgow or studying in Glasgow, I highly recommend checking out these places. It's located in the West End, which means it's quite close to the university campus. Yeah, so I hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay, so that was just one of our students, just as an example. I'm not going to play you'll be happy to hear, I'm not going to play all 4 videos just for the interest of time. But yeah, we have so many examples like this of like happy students who have basically chosen to travel from their home country. They've settled in really well with Kaplan, whether it's in Glasgow or another location in the UK or US or even Australia, and are now pursuing a successful career, or some of them have are still studying and are about to graduate, etc. Okay, so let me just move on to the next stage. So how do you begin after today's session, your path? Very simple, you submit an application. So what you can do is you can speak to Niyati and myself after this session. We can do a one-on-one session, and we can look at what you're interested in, what you're passionate about. Maybe if you're still to make up your mind in terms of what subject you want to study, we can help you narrow down the choices. We'll advise you on what documents we need. When would you like to begin? We can help advise on the best intake for you. It's a really stress-free process once you have the right contacts, if I'm honest. We advise on everything from visa, eventually when it comes to that stage, digital learning, if you need to start digitally and then move later. So many different aspects of the process, we can cover them all for you. So you submit your application, you'll receive what we call an offer letter, which will either be conditional, if you still have documents to submit, or unconditional if you've submitted everything you need. And then you have the option to accept your study offer, which means you would basically pay a small deposit fee to secure your place at your chosen university. And then after that, we prepare you for your visa, we do one-on-one appointments, all the way through till you arrive at your destination. So that's the general process. Let me just move on finally to our website. So if you have any more information that you're still looking for, obviously ask myself now in the Q&A box. I think we have one question. Would you please share, let me see if you can see the question. Would you please share this PowerPoint via email? Yes, absolutely. So I'll provide it to Ms. Niyati, who can then share all the information with anyone who needs it. The key thing is, in the chat box, you need to have given us your form information. So if you've completed the form link that we shared in the chat box, the quick questionnaire with your details, then that'll allow us to send you any information that you like and keep in touch after today. So yes, we can. I see that Farhana also has some other questions in the chat box.
Yep.
Okay, so after completing the course Master in Pharmacy, can your daughter then progress in Australia? Can she get the license? Okay, again, because that's very specific questions, I won't cover them now. I'll cover them when we have our individual session, because they're very specific to your daughter and to a specific major as well for the license. Please give me an idea about scholarship. Again, yeah, because we need to discuss, every university is different, I can give you more tailored advice for Hannah afterwards, if that's okay for you. Another thing I wanted to mention is, in the UK, during your studies, you can work up to 20 hours per week. So with your student visa in the UK, you're allowed to work up to 20 hours per week, which is amazing. Which means that you can earn some of your own cash as a student. It's good for experience, good for confidence building, but that's legally up to 20 hours, which is really, really nice for experience and for some extra money in your pocket. Just something to bear in mind. So yeah, one thing I would like to show, actually no, I'll stop and I'll see if there are any more questions. Do you have any more, Niyati, at your side?
No, I don't have at the moment. I've just taken note of the questions that Farhana's dad has asked so that we can get in touch with him.
Fantastic. Yeah, we can do a meeting. So if there are any more questions, general questions about the UK, US, Australia, please do put them in the Q&A box. So I know we still have a few people on the presentation and the meeting at the moment. So I don't know if Akash, Bindu, Joel, Mubarak and Renata, if any of you have any questions, please do let me know. Don't be shy. If you want to request your mic to be activated, you can, or you can type in the chat box. We have one.
We have one.
Very good question. So off the top of my head, I don't know. The max amount of hours at the moment, it has changed recently. The government's always updating in the US. I know there are a certain amount of hours, but what I can do actually is find out from one of my colleagues who deals for the US and get you a definitive answer. So whoever asked the question, because you're anonymous at the moment, I can follow up with you individually if you've given myself and Niati your details. And it sounds like you're interested in the US, so maybe we can discuss work hours, but also our university partners and your course that you're interested in. And I have another question here, which we have from Mubarak, and the question is, what is the average tuition fee for aerospace? So average will depend on the university you choose, so anything from around $25,000 all the way to 50, 60, even 70,000 at some of the very top ranked US. I'd say an average of around 40 to 50,000 USD for engineering programs. Obviously that's before any scholarship or before any discount, that's the full price. But again, hopefully Mubarak, Niati, can you tell me if Mubarak's provided the details?
Yes, he was anyways with us even with previous webinars.
Oh, excellent. Okay, Mubarak. So in your case, myself and Niati will follow up and maybe arrange a separate session for you too, and we can discuss all of the aerospace engineering programs that we have at Kaplan in the US or any other countries and which universities, and we can go through the specific costs for you as well. Hope that helps. See if we have any more questions coming in.
Okay, we have one more from Farhana's dad. My daughter is doing bachelor degree in Bangladesh. She's in the final year, finishing in 7 to 8 months.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're wondering like when could she begin, etc. Again, it will depend whether you're going for the I know you mentioned US first, and then you also mentioned Australia. So for the US, we have a spring intake, which is like January, February time. So maybe your daughter will have enough time between her finishing her studies, her bachelor's degree, to then progress in January or February. So we have intakes throughout the year. So we should be able to find an option that's right for your daughter. Again, all of this we'll take note of, and we'll speak to you directly. Myself and Niati can have a session with you, and we can arrange that for soon, maybe for the start of next week, if that suits you. And yes, we can cover for pharmacy for you as well. So one final thing.
I have Farhana's dad's email ID. Maybe if he could provide with his number, so that would make it easier for us to contact.
So I think most
we're
people,
done, yeah, with the questions.
Yeah, I think most people are now got what are now left. But thanks everyone for your time. Akash and Joel, I'm assuming you have no questions. Do we have Akash and Joel's details to follow up with?
Yes, yeah? I do have. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So Akash, Joel, Joel, and also Mubarak, we will follow up with all of you, and Farhana also. We'll send an email. You'll have all of my contact details, and we can help you. So thanks for joining today, and thanks for your time, Niati, as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us and having an interactive session.
No problem at all. A pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.